I'm really excited today because I'm going to do the video to remake the fry cake or the fry jacks. And I'm happy to do this one because this one is playful and light. And I've told you guys before that when I started writing my cookbook, it was truly based on this one recipe alone. I wanted to get this recipe to the public because I noticed that a lot of people don't know how to make the fry jack or the fry cakes. It comes out kind of stiff for them, and I want to teach you how to make them fluffy. You're watching the Bear Pantry Show. I measured 2 cups of all-purpose flour into this little bowl, and I'm measuring 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Now, a lot of people have told me in the past that they don't know how to make fry jacks or fry cakes because it comes out kind of stiff. Because if you notice, we're not going to use any butter. You can add some salt to this, but I wouldn't add more than a teaspoon of salt. I don't add any salt because I've told you before that I have problems when I eat salt. And so I figured the butter that I'm going to butter on top of it when it's done, or the cheese or the ham or whatever I'm going to eat it with, has enough salt, so I don't need to add any. I'm starting here with about 7 or 8 ounces of just vitamin D milk. And the more fat that the milk has in it, the better for the fried jack, okay? If it's like fat-free or 1% or 2%, your fried jacks are not going to be as fluffy. And I've never really made these with coconut milk, but I'm sure we could try that in a future recipe. And so all I am doing right here is working this into a dough. It's still too stiff, see, it needs more moisture, so it needs more milk. And if you hear all that hollering from Willow today, is because she's chained up because we're changing our fence and she's trying to escape. So we're going to try to keep her little screaming and hollering to a minimum. But see, we're almost there, and we're almost using all of the milk. I don't want to add too much milk because if you see right here, it looks too wet. So let's work in the dry spots in here and see if we're going to need any more of this milk. So it's sticking to my hand. We're going to need a little bit more. So I'm going to add a little bit more of this milk here. And then I'm going to get it to the counter so we can get the fried jack rolled out. So now it's time to roll out the fry jacks. And I'm going to show you the version that Joe does. And then I'm going to show you the version that my mom used to do when I was a little girl. The way to cut it, I mean. So let's get back to the dough. So this is what we took from the bowl. And I have my counter floured. Who remember the day when they used to have a kneading bowl? I think I'm going to have them send a kneading bowl for me from Belize so I can knead the old-fashioned way, huh? But right now we're using this Formica countertop. And we want to get it really where it's not sticky. So use as much flour as you need. And so what we're going to do is cut them into pieces, serving size pieces. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And some are going to be smaller than others. And all we're going to do, we're going to make them into a ball first, like a golf-sized ball. Just work it around, doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to put it on this floured countertop, at which point we're going to roll it with our rolling pin. And remember, we got 7 pieces like this. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this one so you can know how much this is going to serve. It should serve 7 people, honestly, because we count this as one fried jack, or as Joe calls it, fry cake. And I was raised in Belize City, but Joe was raised in Sand Hill. And so he calls it fried cakes and I call it fry jacks. So I get mixed up sometimes. See, it's not perfectly round, but it's good enough. And then we get the knife and we just cut it in half, and we cut a slit in it. And the slit is to make sure it'll fry quickly. It's like a breathing hole. And so we take another one. And that's why I say it should serve 7, because that should count as 1. But sometimes when I make it in here, somebody will eat like 1.5. So they'll have this and another half like that. So for right now, we're going to say that these fried jacks will serve 7 people. But these are so good, I promise you, if you have guests for breakfast, it won't serve 7 people. It'll serve more like 5 because they're going to want to eat more. So, but this is a small batch that you could make, like if you're alone. You can also do a cup of flour instead of 2 cups. Cut the recipe in half. So let me get all the rest of this dough all kneaded out like this, and then we're going to move over to the stove to show you what we do next. I'm not measuring how much cooking oil I'm putting because you're going to see when we've arrived. So that's look like enough. That looks like enough cooking oil right there. And we're going to let the pan get hot, and then we're going to get our fried jacks or our fried cakes. These are some of the little ones, and we're going to get them fried quickly on both sides in this oil. So it's been about 3 minutes. I think our pot is hot sufficiently. So let's put it in. And it could have gotten a little bit hotter, but it's okay. It won't spoil the fried jack. And as you're frying all of these, if the pan gets over hot or overheated, you could just turn the temperature of the fire down a little bit. I have it on high fire right now. And they're supposed to fry a little bit more swiftly than this. So I think we put it in when it was a little bit too cold. And normally how Joe would test if the fire is hot enough, he'll take like one of the fried jacks and he'll just dip the tail of it. And if it starts acting like it's going to cook, then that's his little test. But I think, you know, professionals use other things like a little drop of flour or something in there to make sure. But this is okay. It's not going to mess it up. I'm going to get this frying. And then we're going to put another couple pieces in, and we're going to fry them on both sides until they're brown. See how well it's frying now? That's how you want it to be frying. And on this first batch that we made, Jory can get over here, you want to add butter. And yes, I add a lot of butter. But you could add less, you know. I don't know how you could ever make this healthy, I'll be honest with you. This is straight up flour. And put butter on it, and you can eat it with anything. We do this for breakfast on the weekends, especially Sunday mornings. And the kids like it with Velveeta cheese. I like it with egg and ham and anything breakfasty. And you could eat it with peanut butter jelly. And when I show you the finished product, I'll show you what my aunt puts on it and my little cousin Amanda. Okay? So let's get the others fried. See, I got a little heart, and you always want to put the slit so it can fry quickly. And so now we're left with this big mass. And what my mom used to do is just cut it in any design. I'm going to cut that little tail off. So that's one. This would be another one. This would be one. And so what you had was all these abnormal pieces. And basically you can make a pair of lips. You can do a design if you're artistically inclined. You know, I do it like that when it's Valentine's and stuff for Jada and for Joe. They appreciate that. So this is just another way of cutting the fried jacks. And here's our finished product. So this is the Joe version, and I like this version because it's uniform and it's stacked and it's in order, and everybody knows that 2 pieces is 1 fried jack or fried cake. Here's the way my mom used to do it, just all different designs, and this is the way a lot of Belizean people do it. Look at my little heart, and they all have butter on it. And let me get this out of the way for a quick second because I want to show you what all you can eat it with. So we've got Velveeta. And I tell the kids that's not real cheese, but they don't care. We've got cream cheese. We've got regular sharp cheddar cheese. Peanut butter. Of course, there's butter already on it, so if you want to put peanut butter, you might not want to put the butter there. We've got jelly, and you can put jam. And the most important thing that I learned from my little cousin Amanda, and I want to give her a shout out. She lives in Utah. Is she puts confectioner or powdered sugar on her fried jacks or fried cakes like that. So I guess it becomes kind of like a donut, right? So these are just some ideas. You can eat it with refried beans. You can have fish, beef, chicken, anything that you want to eat this with, or you can eat them alone. Now I want some feedback on how your fried jacks came out, okay? These are fluffy. If you follow the recipe like I told you, you'll never go wrong. They won't come out stiff. The only way that they'll come out stiff is if you use water instead of milk, because some people, that's how they've learned to make the fried jacks, and they don't want to change and move on with the future, so they don't want to put the milk, because as a child growing up in Belize, we didn't used to get cow's milk like that. It was too expensive unless you lived on a farm and you got it straight from the cow, right? So we learned to make it with water. And it was kind of stiff. It was still tasty, but it was a little bit too stiff. So now that we learn how to make it with the milk, it's soft, it's wonderful, it's fluffy, and you can eat it with just about anything that you like. Thank you for watching. I love you for subscribing, and thank you for picking up the book. Until I see you again, take care.